Hey everybody, welcome into Going Public. I am Harry McCullough. Today we'll talk with Parks and Recreation Administrator Jim Wendell. Thanks so much for being here, man. How's it going?
It's always good to be here, man. Was just here last week, but we always have some exciting things going on in recreation, so I have some updates for you and just a reminder of some of the other stuff that we have going on.
Yeah, so it's a funny time of the year. You got a lot of stuff. You're making a transition from indoors, outdoors, although we've kind of pushed some of that back because of the storm. But we're making that transition to going to spring sports. We all got Mardi Gras. We got soccer playoffs. There's a lot of stuff going on, and I'm sure that's all logistics for you to deal with.
Right. A lot going on. As we spoke last week, this past weekend, we just started our basketball season that was pushed back because of Ida. So for our 2022 season, we have 51 total teams that started their league last weekend on Saturday. And we have games Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, depending on the age group. 37 boys teams and 14 girls teams. So we had a tremendous turnout of athletes and teams and coaches, considering Mardi Gras, COVID, Ida. Everybody's just trying to get back to a little bit of normalcy. We still have lots of people displaced. We have people, transitioning to different schools, and, they're still coming together for the kids to make it happen. Those 51 teams equal 582 participants in the program, which I find phenomenal.
That's really good.
Those 582 kids are, ages 7 through 12 that are not on the street. They're not out there being mischievous. They're not out, doing things. Sure. They're doing their schoolwork. They're getting out there with the parent volunteer coaches that we have. And you come from a sports background. You got to know the team and the team spirit, the camaraderie and the stuff when you're part of a team, just getting out there. And we like to think of recreation as not too competitive. It's more of a laid-back thing versus high school sports or middle school sports, even the collegiate level. We're not worried about who wins or who loses.
Right.
We're worried about getting out there, having fun, building teamwork.
It's a building block.
And molding these.
Finding how to play the game.
Exactly.
That kind of stuff.
We're molding these young people into adolescenthood and into adulthood. And, that's 582 kids that we have touched and hopefully continue to make good decisions throughout their life.
Yeah, it was funny. I started this morning, we having a talk about movies, right? And has anybody seen an Oscar movie? And stay with me. But then we started talking, wait, can we even go to movies around in Terrebonne Parish right now? I don't know if there's a movie house open. And it got us into talking about what are kids doing? What are kids doing at those age groups what do they got to do right now? And that's a great way to go play basketball, play soccer, join a team, and learn a sport.
Exactly. And we promote not the let's win, or at the end of the game, well, you guys gave up 4 runs in the second inning, and you let them score this. Right. It's, Billy, you passed the ball to Tommy. Y'all had great communication. Right. You did this great. When you came here, you couldn't make a basket, and you did 2 points this whole game. It's more of enforcing the positives than it is, we lost again, and it's all your fault. It's the people who are coaching your kids are the people in your neighborhood.
Sure.
Your kids go to school together. They sleep at each other's houses. They, do stuff. And to tie it all together with sports a little bit more, that just, the icing on the cake, keeping our eye on the ball and hoping that we're moving forward in a positive way.
Yeah, when I coach my son's team, same kind of way, right? It's like, no, you're here to learn and learn on how to get better, right? It's like, I don't care if you walk; it may help the team, but swing the bat. Let's learn how to hit the ball. Let's learn how to make a bounce pass or the correct pass. Learn how to play defense, right, the right way, and not so much pressure. Who cares if you win or lose? I mean, obviously, I don't want to. I'm not trying.
Everybody wants to win,
right? But you want to be competitive and learn how to do it. But you also want to learn how to get better in that sports.
So the fundamentals, the life lessons, the things like that. In recreation, we try to be a little bit more laid back and make it about the kids and make it fun. And as well as I do, when you get into the high school level, it's more competitive.
Sure, yeah.
It's a lot of things. And in a high school team, you have a couple hundred kids that go to high school, maybe even up to 1,000, and you only have 12 or 14 roster spots on the team.
Right.
So there's a large majority of people who would like the opportunity, but because they don't make the team, or they missed a tryout, or their parents' schedule doesn't allow, or financially they're not able to travel and do some of the things, with the travel ball organizations. We have a lot of different organizations in our area, not only recreation, but we have the Home and Terrebonne Soccer Association, who basically does the same thing as us. It's all about the kids. Get out there, let's have some fun, let's do stuff. We started more sports, or a wider variety of sports, flag football. We spoke last week about the adults wanting to be active, some of the feedback we got, and we've come up with some adult offerings. So even if you don't have kids, you can still get out there and be competitive with your classmates if you're in college, or your sorority sisters, or your work buddies, whatever it is. We were talking a little bit earlier about working out, and that's a good way to get out there, get some cardio, have some fun, and of course the camaraderie that goes along with it, with egging on your buddies and your friends. Can't believe you missed that.
That's when you get on, and when you get older, that's when you can't believe you lost again.
And a lot of our stuff for adults is co-ed, so you and your wife can go out there and you can show her how it's done. I mean, just the friendly competition between family, friends, spouses, it's just a great thing to see whenever it all comes together.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. So softball and baseball are coming up, and those registrations again are for boys and girls and for older folks, right?
Yes, registration started for our youth ball games last week. That is our 7 through 12, and then we have on the girls' side, it actually goes up to 18 for softball. And on the boys, we have Metro Baseball, which is the older age group. And we don't have enough fields to have them all at the same time. So T-ball and the Metro Baseball, the older boys, play right after the recreation softball baseball season.
Oh, good.
So that is going on now. You can register online at tprec.org. We've tried to make it as painless as possible. You go in there, upload a copy of the birth certificate, fill out the registration. We do have in the works the Recreation Modernization Task Force authorized some changes in the way recreation is run and the way the different recreation districts manage their districts and the facilities that we have at our disposal to use. So probably within the next 5-6 months, we're going through training now, and we'll be rolling out a new registration portal where you can go in, register, and it's going to be very painless, and you can get out and get it done. But registration opened February 14th, yesterday, Valentine's Day, and it will close on March 18th for the youth softball and baseball. And this is for 7 through 18 of girls and 7 through 15 of boys. And games are scheduled to start April 18th. Now, we did talk last time about the availability of the fields and possibly having to maneuver this a little bit. As it stands now, with the feedback that we're getting from these recreation districts, we'll be able to have daylight games at most of the places and some nighttime games at some of the others. So we're still proceeding forward with it. We may have to adjust the games a little bit depending on it, but they'll be able to get out there, start practicing with each other, getting a little bit better with their skills. And
so you should almost try to have a couple of people sign up together where you can all play together and do all that, right?
Right, and it usually works like that.
You don't have to, though.
We like to do it with a draft. That way it's, a semi-draft. We get the kids in a pool, and we just pick what school they go to, what side of town they're from. That way you're not traveling from Gibson to Montague.
It's a big parish.
Different things that make them have things in common. So when they get there, they're not out there with 15 strangers saying, "Oh my God, I hate this, and I want to come back." They're out there with people they go to school with, familiar faces, or their friends. And we have some coaches that sign up and say, "Okay, I'm going to coach my son's team, and he has these 6 friends." So we put those on that team, and it just builds the team a little bit stronger, because even if you bring 5 or 6 outside kids that are from the same area, the same school, it doesn't take long for all of them to come together as a team and start to work and get it done. And we find those teams work out the best. But we have teams that none of the kids have ever met each other. But we do have people that call and say, "I want my kid on a St. Bernadette team or a St. Francis team." Or we have these kids that go to Covenant Christian, and we have 5 or 6 other ones that signed up and that's the school they go to. So we try to keep all those kids together because different functions that happen at school, different activities, certain days of the week.
Sure.
And that way if the coach calls and says, well, I have 2 kids that can't make it, we may have to forfeit because they have something at school. That would happen a lot if we didn't kind of keep the similar groups together. So if we know Covenant Christian has a bonfire this night because a big ball game this day, we can make it where that team plays on another night instead of that night to kind of help logistically with everything.
No, I think, in the 2020s, right, the flexibility is, and look, if we've learned anything the last couple of years, there's nothing in stone anymore, right? And so in having that flexibility to be able to kind of work with people, that's a great way to do it. And it keeps everybody happier. I'm sure you got somebody there complaining, but that's another sport in itself. You ought to have signups for that.
Well, I tell you what, baseball and softball, we usually have 1,500 kids that sign up for the 2 combined. And you're not going to please everybody all the time, but we try our best to run the operation where
and you just explain why.
It's easier and people can respect that. So.
Yeah, you're not trying to build super teams, and we're not having dynasties, and we're not retiring coaches or putting up any statues. We're trying to get the kids out on the field at the right time where everybody can work together. So
exactly, and something to look for right after that. Right after this baseball, softball season, I mentioned the 5 and 6-year-old T-ball and the 16 through 18 Metro baseball. Around mid-April is when we start signing up for that. So that's something to keep an eye on. You can look at our social media sites, and all the links are there to sign up and do what we need to do.
Yeah, that's perfect. So, all right, we'll take a break. We'll be back with more Going Public right after this.
A new company with a lot of history. GIS Engineering has rapidly grown its brand around an experienced team of professionals. GIS Engineering is a full-service planning, engineering, procurement, and construction management company specializing in coastal protection and restoration, upstream and downstream industrial, and transportation infrastructure projects. Putting people first, GIS Engineering, a new company with a lot of history.
Pelican Waste and Debris is your local company. We don't just work here, we live here and understand the unique challenges that face our region. Our commitment to our community and customers and love for Louisiana keeps us motivated. Pelican meets every residential and commercial service need, offering roll-off, front-load, and compactor services, ideal for hotels, restaurants, apartments, construction or industrial sites, and much more. We also make recycling simple and cost-efficient, offering single-stream recycling program options. We have set the highest standards for environmental protection, community engagement, and guaranteed client satisfaction. Visit pelicanwaste.net or call us at 985-873-9553 to save money with hassle-free service. Our team has over 100 years of experience, so we know how to make you happy. The sky is the limit, so fly with the Pelican.
Everybody, welcome back to Going Public. I am Harry McCullough. Jim Wendell is here. We're talking parks and recreation from Terrebonne Parish. So, busy time. We talked about a lot of different, leagues and pushbacks and getting things going. But adults can also get involved, and that's also a big part of what Parks and Recreation does. You always think little kids, but a lot of people want to get involved for sure.
Right. We got a lot of feedback from adults saying, hey, we just want to reminisce and we want to get out there. And a lot of people are intimidated to go to the gym because you don't want to be embarrassed because the guy next to you is bench pressing 300 pounds. Right. But you want to get out there and be active and do something. A lot of people are walking, running, going to the parks, throwing frisbee, football, walking their dog. So we tried to get some easy adult sports going on as well as some more in depth. We've always had an adult basketball league. Sometimes the turnout's a little bit greater. The last couple of years it's laxed off because we had the COVID and everything else. But our softball, we have a spring and a winter adult softball. And those folks, it's co-ed teams, and those folks really come out and they register teams. They go out there and play. We give them schedules, provide an official, provide them the fields to practice and play, and they go out there and they really knock it out of the park.
Do they travel? Do they have the weekend tournaments in softball like we used to? And I'm sorry, I don't know the answer to this, but we used to go to. I used to follow my brother around. There'd be tournaments every weekend,
right,
somewhere.
I know they have
still
adult.
do that?
I know they have adult tournaments because I read about them and I see them in different places in the recreation world. I don't know if our teams travel that much. Our teams are just some good old guys and gals from different companies or.
Right. Hey, let's go softball.
And you see a lot of stuff that they have alumni tournaments, whether it's alumni to get together with the school folks or fundraising, and some of our teams do participate in those as well.
These are always a great way for, we're transient now, right? You may have to move to a different area to start a job. You may be somewhere where you're not around your friends or your family. And it's a great way to meet people, right? You come into a town, you might be from some other state, you come into home and you go, I don't know a soul here.
Right.
And join up for one of these teams, you meet those teams, you become teammates, and it's a great way to start, having a little group of people.
Exactly, and going to a new place or just these types of sports in general is very, very intimidating. If you told me to get out there and let's play basketball,
right,
I'm not going out there with the athletic guys and look like a fool. Same thing with softball. Who knows if I can hit the ball with the bat?
Right.
So we've come up with something that we feel is foolproof. Anybody, any age. We're offering adult kickball that registration is open now. Anybody, including myself, can go out there and kick the ball and use the same fundamentals as baseball. So we're just trying to offer, make it the easiest way possible to get everybody out there and get everybody active.
Yeah, so we have the registration for the Terrebonne Parish Recreation Leagues. So the adult kickball and adult basketball leagues.
Yes, both of them are registering now. And we talked about coming to a new area or not knowing anybody. If you go to our Facebook page, which is Terrebonne Parish Recreation, and we share it on some of the local recreation groups that are out there. We do have groups set up on our Facebook page where you can join into the group and chat with other people who may be interested. So you can post on there that, I'm a 47-year-old male looking to join a kickball team. Or if I'm the one that started the team, if I'm the manager, hey, I have a team, we have 4 players, we're looking for 12 more people. We'll probably practice on Monday nights and our games are gonna be on Saturdays. And, just to, I guess kind of a networking area to get to know some of these people. And once you go out and start to know them and hanging out and, eating or barbecuing, that's how these teams are going to form and get bigger. And we've done it with softball, with the adult softball program. Adult basketball has been hit or miss, but we've offered it every year for quite a few years. And now with the kickball, that just opens it up to, a little bit less competitive, but you can still get out there and get active and get it done.
So, let's see that slide one more time. The registrations are when and where will they play?
The kickball league is going to be at the Bayou Country Sports Park. Team registration opened January 31st and it closes February 16th, so tomorrow. We do have some registrants for that. There is some talk in our chat groups on Facebook that people are going to sign up. Games should begin March 10th. Bayou Country is already set up, so that is a definite go around our baseball, softball schedule once we get that kicked off. Now our basketball registration that opened February 7th, registration closes March 4th. And games are going to begin March 22nd. And those will be in gyms with our older youth programs once our recreation-based basketball that just started ends.
Yeah, no, that's great. And like I said, there's a lot of people in town that are different now that you're just looking for something to do.
Looking for something to do, and every time you go to the doctor, you get more ailments tacked on there that you need to lose 10 pounds. You need to get out there and get active. So
I thought you were going to say that's like a orthopedic surgeon should be sponsoring y'all thing. Because I know how that is as I got older, right?
Yeah.
Running it out to first base. Hey, we always need baseball and softball coaches if needed, right?
That's coaches for anything. Our programs are run off of volunteers. We just talked about the importance of that. The importance of getting out there with the kids and that positive reinforcement, not of let's win, you dropped it, they did that because of you, but hey, you did it. You're getting better with the passing from where we came from. You guys are working great as a team. all of y'all are working great as a team. There's great communication, calling the ball, doing things. So we need the dads, the grandpas, the uncles, the stepdads, moms, stepmoms. You know, we have all ages and sex of sports, and there's some moms that come out there to coach baseball teams, and they're good coaches, because it's caring about the kids. You know, getting out there and just wanting to see the best for the youth. And, you know, that's what we pride ourselves on, and that's what we support, and that's what we like to do. But the process to become a coach, if you contact anyone at the TPR staff, 873-6584 is the number you can call. They will send you out a coach's registration packet. You fill out a one-page application, sign the back. We send that form to the Houma Police Department so they can do the background checks and stuff that are required. We usually get that back in about probably a week and a half, 2 weeks, just depending on how long that takes. From that point on, we have a concussion training. That's a state law that has to be taken, so you can recognize the signs of concussion or know what to do if the child gets hit, hurt. So the head coach, or all the coaches get that, and then the head coaches usually get a little bit first aid CPR training. We used to team up with Terrebonne General. COVID pushed that back a little bit, but we do have some additional resources in place to get that CPR first aid training. And we give you a call and say, okay, you've turned in all your training, you passed the background check. We have a coaches meeting where we pass out agendas and what you should do with practices. We schedule them at different practice fields so they can practice, and they just practice with their team until we issue the uniforms and the schedule. And then you meet out there, you get your team together, and by that time it is a team.
Right.
And it's just great to see
So
these.
rewarding for both. You know, you think about the kids, but it's really rewarding for coaching a team.
It is, and you don't have to be a professional. You don't have to know much about the sport. You just have to have the
Care about
desire
kids.
to watch them do good, and it'll all come together.
Yeah, no doubt. So that's awesome. Now, if you want to make a little extra money, we always talk about side hustles. Not we always talk, but you know, you always see side hustles. You can be an Uber driver around here, but you can also be an official.
Yes, Terrebonne Recreation is always looking for officials. A lot of people have busy schedules, so we have games usually majority of the days of the week. So we like to keep a pool of people that we can pull from. If you just want to referee basketball or volleyball, or you just want to do baseball or softball, you can only work one season. You get paid per game. You are a part-time employee of the parish, so you have to go through the hiring process. Recreation does not have anything to do with the hiring of officials, so you have to go through the website tpcg.org, fill out an application, get it submitted to Human Resources. They send them to Recreation to review after, and then it's actually Human Resources that does all the hiring and everything. But once you get in the pool of employees, we can use you for as many or as few sports, or as many or as few games as you want to, contribute to.
And is there an age limit?
I think you have to be eligible for a work permit, so I think that age is 15 or 16.
Right? Yeah, you could do it as a kid. Right.
But we have some high school students that do it.
Sure.
They move into college and they do it,
Right.
and they make some
Starts a good
decent
career.
money doing
Right.
something fun until they graduate college. So by that time, they've worked here 5 or 6 years, so they have some job training, they have some on-the-job experience time that they can use, and they enjoyed it because they're running, calling basketball or football or whatever it is that they enjoy doing. So it's
Doing
a win-win.
few games, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I know the Louisiana High School Athletic Association, they were looking for officials too, so this would be a good way to get in and get in that way.
And Home and Terrebonne Soccer is looking for them as well, and we try not to throw stones at anybody else. We're all here for the kids. We're all here for the same reasons, and we all need help. We all need coaches. We all need officials. We all need support, from the community, from the families, from the parents, and it just helps these programs tremendously.
All right, so let's bring it all together. We have one final slide with the registration and program schedule, and the registration and program schedule for both of them. So this is everything, right?
This is the 2 flyers that Recreation put out at the beginning of 2022, and of course, some things are subject to change, but the youth recreation is on the left-hand side. Our baseball, softball, t-ball, flag football, volleyball programs, along with our football and cheerleading that run concurrent. Boys and girls basketball, which we're having 2 sessions this year because we're still doing the 2021 now, and we'll do the 2022 later in the year. We have our young training league and our older pre-prep basketball at the end as well. In our adult recreation, we have, of course, our winter and summer softball leagues that we've always had in our basketball, but we've added kickball that we talked about earlier, and we're hoping to have 2 segments of flag football, which is, help with that orthopedic, not as much injuries, but all those slides are on our Facebook page, so you can check out the registration dates and give us a call, sign up.
Well, we may not have Oscar movies to go see, but there's plenty of stuff to do.
Plenty of stuff to do in recreation.
All you got to look for it. Yeah, so Jim, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
We appreciate it. We'll be back with more Going Public right after this.